We are now into November, which means that this year's Festival of the Lost is coming to a close. In a few days, it will be removed from the game, and we will have to wait another year for this activity to come around. This year's Festival of the Lost has been a bit of a mixed bag, in my opinion. There's been a few aspects which are great, as per usual, but there's been others where it's just been a bit lacking. And I think this event could do with having a bit of an overhaul, even though it got an overhaul last year. So yeah, there's different sections of this video. I'm going to go through the aesthetics and the story, the gear, Eververse, then the actual activity, and then the title. So I'll try and have timestamps for them. The first section is the aesthetics and the story. First off, as per usual, the tower is decorated, and as per usual, it is decorated extremely well. It looks great. However, it looks pretty much identical to last year, apart from one thing. The hangar is no longer decorated. Why? I don't really know, but I can only assume this is to do with Keitel's ship now being in the hangar, and that's why they didn't put the decorations up, because it might interfere with that. I really don't know. But, in short, the hangar is decorated, and is decorated pretty good. But part of it isn't, and that's a bit strange. But it looks identical to last year. I made a wee bit of a showcase video showing it off, but it looks the exact same, so eh. The lost sectors look really, really well decorated as well, which is what the activity is, haunted sectors. So certain lost sectors are redecorated to look all spooky. They look really, really good, and the headless ones look really cool as well. The story is also good enough for an activity, I suppose. You've got Glint, who's our main host whenever we're in the haunted sectors, narrating it for us, but this year we also have Gambit Man himself, Drifter, and Ido, which is obviously from this season, so that's pretty nice. Last year I think we had Petra making a special guest appearance. That was because it was during Season of the Lost. Overall, not too bad. I think it works pretty well for a spooky Halloween event that's meant to be a bit lighthearted, so I think it's pretty good. Pity about the hangar, but honestly that's a minor thing. I'm not going to hold that over them. Gear. Now, there's only one piece of gear added during this event in my opinion, and that is the sniper. And I say in my opinion because there is an armor set, but it's only a universal ornament and it's in Eververse, so I don't really count that. The new sniper, which is called a Mechabra, is really cool. It looks really cool, sounds really cool, really fun to use. I quite like it. It is my favourite Fast of the Lost weapon, because the other three I don't really like, which are 2 auto rifles and a pulse rifle. So yeah, it's got that going for it. There's an origin trait this year, which is called Search Party, and its description is this weapon is granted faster aim down sight speed and movement speed while aiming down sights when no allies are near, which is a nice wee bonus. Nothing amazing, but pretty nice to have. And it is accessible on all 4 Fast of the Lost weapons. Having said that, at the start of the event, the other 3 were a bit hit and miss whether they would actually have the trait or not, but that's one of many bugs with this event. And the old weapons are back as per usual, but my opinion of them is a bit meh. So the sniper is pretty good, and honestly fits in with the theme very well, considering the theme this year is mechs, because the vote for the armor set was between a mech or a monster, and the mechs won, even though I voted for the monsters, which is quite sad. But anyway, that brings us on to Eververse, which is where the armor set lives, and you can get this for either Bright Dust or real money. I'm not going to use either because I don't care. I think it's a nice enough looking armor set, to be fair. I just can't really see myself using it, but it is designed pretty well. I saw a pretty interesting character somebody had made that looked like Cade by using the mech mask on the hunter. Looked pretty good actually, so I'm sure there's applications for them. I'm not the biggest fan of the armor set, but hey ho, it's a nice fun looking armor set. It's not too bad. There's also a bunch of new masks. They all look pretty funky. There's a Star Horse mask. There's also new sparrows and ornaments and emotes, which look really good. There's a Star Horse sparrow, which looks very strange. There's a bunch of different emotes, such as running on the spot, frantically trying to run away from something, and being able to get somebody to hold you while you're a bit scared. So all very fun. I would kind of like to see this love for Eververse extended to the rest of the event, but Unfortunately, that is not the case. Having said that, I know Eververse is a different team of people. It's, the people who develop emotes don't necessarily develop the event. But anyway, that brings us nicely onto the activity. In case you don't know, a wee rundown of the activity is this year it is Haunted Sectors, which is the exact same as it was last year. Prior to that, it was the Haunted Forest, which was a variant of the Infinite Forest from the Curse of Osiris expansion, and it was infinitely generating within a time limit. At certain stages you would fight bosses, you would get rewards at the end. It was quite fun. You got to challenge yourself to see how far you could go. The Haunted Sectors, not Lost Sectors, are certain lost sectors from different planets, remade to be a bit funky looking, essentially the as of decorations for Halloween. Currently we have Europa, Nessus, the Moon, and new to this year, the EDZ. You start at the entrance of the lost sector. Once you are a bit into the lost sector, near the ending area, a 5-minute timer begins. 10 seconds into this timer, a summoning circle appears. You can have 10 summoning circles appear prior to the boss, and each summoning circle can spawn, or will spawn, a headless one. So you defeat a headless one, and you get candy and stuff. Basically, there's 5 minutes. And you kill all the headless ones, then you wait for a wee while, because you have to let the timer expire. There's only ever 10 headless ones prior to the boss fight, and the timer does not stop whenever you defeat all 10 headless ones. You must wait for those 5 minutes, which usually ends up you standing there waiting for a minute, just looking at your phone or something. But anyway, after the boss spawns, you then have 5 more headless ones that you can defeat. The reason for this is that the boss goes immune at every third of its health taken away, so there's 2 immune phases. The only way to get rid of the immunity is to defeat a headless one and chuck pumpkin charges at the shield. So you only need to kill 2 headless ones during this entire thing, because you only need like 2 pumpkin charges to get rid of the shield, and a headless one drops like 3 or 4. So yeah, not the best if you're trying to convert spectral pages into manifested pages, because that of course is the main purpose of this activity. The whole event revolves around you playing an activity in Destiny 2 existing already. Anything, literally anything under the sun you can play and get a spectral page. You then go and you play a Haunted Lost Sector to manifest these pages. You convert them from spectral pages into manifested pages, then you use those pages in the tower to unlock lore essentially for the event. This is mainly used for the title, to be fair. But yeah, so the amount of pages you can convert depends on how many headless ones you defeat. So 15 defeated, 15 pages, 10 defeated, 10 pages, that sort of thing. I have a few gripes with this event, with this activity. It's a bit naff in my opinion, and I think it could be very unnaff if it could have a couple tweaks. So, to begin with, the timer thing is idiotic. I don't think there's any other sort of description for it. It might sound a bit harsh, but honestly it's a bit silly, because there's 2 ways that could make this actually good. Because in the current state, if you get somewhat alive teammates, you're going to defeat all 10 headless ones prior to the 5-minute timer running out. And if you have a decent team, even like literally random people, I have had it multiple times where it is at least 1 minute left on the timer by the time we've defeated all 10 headless ones. And what you end up doing is you sit and like do something else. You look at your inventory, or you go on your phone, or you watch a YouTube video. You do literally anything for this amount of time. It's just a bit naff in my opinion. There's 2 ways I can think of that this would make it very easily just better. The first is to start the boss fight exactly when 10 headless ones are defeated. Cut the timer. As soon as you defeat those headless ones, the boss spawns. It shouldn't be a case of the timer must run out. It should be either the timer runs out or the headless ones are defeated, which triggers the boss fight. That would make the whole thing a bit quicker, but it would just make the experience nicer, because it would mean you wouldn't have to just wait around and waste your time. The other option, which I actually think would be better, is to just have unlimited headless ones until the timer runs out. Still make it so as you must have a 5-minute timer and you must have it run out, but just make it so as you can defeat as many headless ones as you want. because that would actually incentivize some sort of, competitiveness, and to make it so as you actually try to defeat these things as fast as possible. Because in the current state, I'm just moseying around knowing that, like, I'm gonna have to wait for at least 30 seconds at the end. So why am I trying to kill these things quickly? It's just a bit naff. The reason behind this, I assume, because they didn't fix it during the event, it's still there. I assume the main reason behind this is to put a cap on how many pages can be converted in one run, which is 15. And there is actually a triumph, I think, for converting 15 pages in one run. So I think that's a bit naff, if that's the reason. Of course, why don't they just make it so as the timer ends whenever 10 headless ones are defeated? I'm assuming that's because, again, if you could do the event in a minute, if you could do the activity in like a minute and a half quicker than you can currently, then you'd be able to convert pages faster. So it's really just a weird roundabout way to bump their numbers up for playtime by getting people to not play the game for a minute at the end of their activity. I think it's a bit naff. I think they could easily change this to make it actually fun, but this causes issues later on in the video, which we will get onto shortly. There's also a bug when the event came out which meant the pages weren't getting converted, which was also extremely naff, and I don't actually understand how they can do that. The other kind of annoying thing is that either Glint, Drifter, and Ido talk way too much, and every time a headless one appears, they act as though it's the first time they've ever seen it in their lives, or they just don't talk at all. Like, it's either every single time or not at all, and it's really strange. So, don't know what's up with that. It's a bit annoying that they just talk all the time, and then when they don't, it's like, But anyway, that's activity. It's a bit naff in my opinion. It could do a bit of a rework, and it was also a bit naff that we only got one extra lost sector this year. It's literally just an existing piece of the game that you're decorating and putting headless ones into. It's like not. I can't imagine it's that big of a task. They had 3 for last year. We now have 4. They could have at least done 2 or something. But anyway, whatever. The next part is the title, and the title is a bit of a interesting one because overall it's not actually that bad. As a short list of things, you have to manifest all 27 door pages. So there's a wee book at the tower that you have to use your manifested pages to unlock door pages. There's 27 of these pages. The first row, which is 9 of them, go from like 1 manifested pages to like 3, like 2 manifested pages to like 3 to 5. Then after that it's 9, so 18 of them cost 9 manifested pages. It takes a wee bit of time, but it's not actually that bad. So you have to do 27 of these lower pages. That's not bad. Defeat 100 headless ones, easy. That's literally, if you can do 15 in one run, it's going to take you like no time at all. Even if you do 10 in one run, it's going to take you 10 goes. Not difficult. 3 haunted sectors on each location, so basically 3 runs of each of the lost sectors. Not difficult. Candy. You have to earn a certain amount of candy. Easy to do. Let's just play activities with a mask on and get grab bags from Eva. Easy. You only have to get 3. That's not a problem. Then you have to get sniper rifle kills, auto rifle kills, pulse rifle kills, and arc energy kills. These are actually a bit challenging. I still haven't got the arc one done, even though I'm a good bit through this seal at the moment. So I'm very, very close to like 97%. But the sniper rifle, auto rifle, and pulse rifles were actually kind of fun. I actually kind of enjoyed being forced to use certain weapons. Obviously this is because the weapons available for this event are sniper rifle, auto rifle, pulse rifles. But it was actually quite nice. I felt that was quite challenging, so I actually quite enjoyed that challenge. You also have to do about 30 to 35-ish Crucible, Gambit, or Strikes, which actually isn't that bad. Last event it was Crucible or Gambit, and I hated it because I was playing by myself, and I missed the nice week, where it was like Team Scorch or Mayhem. I think I was playing Momentum Control, and it was really, really, really just mind. Like I was losing my mind. This time the strikes are included, which is a bit nicer. It's also quite nice because one of the challenges is to do strikes or catch crash. And strikes actually give 15% for this, and catch crash give 10, I believe. So you really only have to do like 7 strikes. So you can literally do your like weekly stuff and you'll get this done in no time. So it's not really that big a thing. You have to earn candy while playing Crucible or Gambit. It's fine. I don't think that takes very long. I've done it. It's not bad. The big thing is 35 Haunted Lost sectors. And just essentially my answer to this challenge is why? Why is this a thing? 35 Haunted Lost sectors. To put this into perspective, right? I did a wee bit of a test, and it takes about 10 minutes to do a haunted sector entirely. From when you hit that go button in orbit to getting back to that situation for the next run, it takes about 10 minutes, the entire cycle. So you're spending 10 per haunted lost sector. That means it's going to take 350 minutes, which is almost 6 hours. Over the course of 3 weeks, that isn't that bad. However, the event isn't fun. The event's quite bad. That's the thing. I'm at 20 currently. I do plan on getting to 35, as I feel as though that's part of the thing, getting the seal. I do want the seal. I think it's important to go through this for a review of an event. But quite honestly, 6 hours of something that you do not enjoy is not fun. Like, I played 35 matches of Crucible last event, and whilst I was losing my mind, I actually somewhat weirdly kind of enjoyed it, because I haven't played Crucible that much. Haunted Lost sectors are actually painful, because you know there's going to be at least 30 seconds to a minute where you're going to be just sitting there, knowing you could do something else with your time. If you're doing 35 of these things, you're going to have over half an hour where you're just sitting, waiting, whilst actively playing the activity. Not even just in orbit, not even just like at the end of the event. Literally, whilst you're in the middle of the activity, you're just like, alright, I'll just sit here for a minute. It's naff. It's actually horrendous that this is a thing. And I think that literally either making it so his headless ones constantly spawn, or making it so his timer just stopped whenever you defeated all 10 could easily solve the problem, but I don't think they're going to do it. And I very easily could see this being the exact same way next year. So that's kind of my take. Overall, this year's iteration of Festival of the Lost was a bit subpar, in my opinion. The activity was a bit painful, with the 1 minute of waiting time, usually. And once you defeat all the headless ones, there is only one new location, which I think could easily have been 2 or 3. And the title required you to play 35 of these haunted sectors, whenever that's going to waste 35 minutes of your life because you're just waiting around. I really hope it's better for next year, but I'm not holding out much hope. It's really sad because Festival of the Lost is actually an activity which I actually quite look forward to. I quite like Halloween and this sort of spooky time, but it's just not good. So yeah, that's sort of my review. I hope you enjoyed the event. I hope you got more out of it than I did. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, maybe even subscribing. Share your opinions on the event down below if you agree with me or disagree with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.